Before I get into the shooting part of the video, this is kind of like a two-part video that's all been put into one. The first part is when I took the gun out to the range for the first time to get it zeroed in and shoot different types of ammo through it and to see how it was grouping and basically how it was performing. There were mistakes made that day, and I'll cover that after the shooting footage. The other part of the video was I have 3 targets to show you, dating back to when I had the Tikka T3X, comparing it to this gun at the same distances. These were all 440-yard competition shoots, and I will cover how I did in the last match compared to how I was doing with the setup with the Tikka. As far as the video footage that you're about to see, like I said, I'll go over and do some more explaining on that as far as why the groups were so all over the place and everything else. So I've been out testing the new rifle to see which rounds it likes better for bullet weight and type of ammunition after getting the gun sighted in. And so far, I'll go through and show you guys which ones. This is the Berger hold on a second, 144 grain. Then I shot the Norma Golden Target, which didn't do too bad, but had a little bit more spread than the other ones. And this was the Hornady 147 grain, Hornady Match 147 grain. And then another, I think like real close second, is this Seiko TRG Precision. And this one here was with the Berger 144 again. The wind is crazy. That's a really excellent group, and this is at 100 yards. I made an adjustment on the scope to bring it down just a little bit at 100, and it didn't group as good, but the wind was freaking crazy. So I'm going to try this at 440 now with the Berger 144 grain, and I only got 10 shots left. I don't have a lot of one particular type of ammunition because I'm still trying out which ammo it really likes. But I think it's between the Berger and the Seiko Precision. So we'll go out to the 440, set the target up, do 10 rounds on a different target, and see how well it does. Well, I was aiming in the center. These are previous shots. I put stickies on them, but it won't cover them up. These are the 6.5 Creedmoor. It shot high right at 440, but it was pretty much on at 100 yards. I used the app. It said to go up by 2 clicks for mils, but it seemed to be too much. I'm probably going to take another shot at some different ammo, the Seiko, and see how that does. And I'm not going to, I mean, it doesn't make any sense not to bring it up. It's at 440 yards, it's going to have to come up some, but it seems like 2 mils is a little bit too much for some reason. Left to right, windage, it didn't seem too bad. It was off a little bit, but I think I'll dial that back as well and see what I end up doing. So my shots are these ones here, and one flyer over there, and these ones right through here. These two, that one, that one, that one, and that one were there before. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And one of these must be mine. Maybe this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. So I dialed it down, even though the app said to put it at 2.3 mils. I brought it down to like 1.5. So up and down wise, it's really good now. And it's pretty much just playing with the windage for the most part. And I moved it back a little bit. Probably if I moved it back, probably at 0 is where I need to leave it, even though it said to move it a little bit. So the apps aren't always correct, because this was 2.3 mils here, and it was way high, and this is like 1.5. I have to go back and look on the scope. So this seems to be the sweet spot for 440. This was with the Berger 144. This is with Seiko 136. It seems to like both rounds pretty well, but I think it likes the Berger a little bit more. So I'm going to try and get more of that and do some more 440 yards with the scope set up the way that it is now. I didn't get much wind on that one, but this was the Hornady 140s. It shot low and to the right. The Berger with 2.3 MOA was high to the right. Seiko shot pretty even when I clicked it down. It was probably like 1.5 after looking on the scope. That was pretty much even. It was just over too far. The Hornady, it shoots way low with the same setting on the scope. So that's just a difference in ammo. I'm completely out of Berger, and I don't have very little Seiko left, but I think I'm going to call it for the day. It's pretty much between these two rounds, the Berger up here and the Seiko over here. If I can get the Berger to this spot, which I think it would, if I had, once I made the scope adjustment, I would have moved it down to here. It would be right in line with where the Seiko was. But the Hornady just doesn't seem to do as well. There's only 8 on here. I'm not sure where the other 2 went. Maybe they, no idea. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm not sure where the other 2 went to. I don't have any through the same hole anywhere. So maybe they flew off the paper. But this gun definitely doesn't like the Hornady as much as my Tikka did. Definitely favors the Berger and the Seiko. It's just a matter of dialing these in a little bit more, and it should pretty much be all set to start doing the competition shoots with it. So as you can see, it was really inconsistent as far as how my groups were going. Just to cut to the chase on what actually happened to explain that better. Once I got home, I took the gun out of the case that I had it in, was looking everything over, and I noticed that the muzzle brake had become loose to the point where I could spin it by hand, and it was almost showing threads. So I have no doubt that at 100 and especially 440 yards, it was throwing rounds all over the place. Another mistake that I made that was on my part. Also, the muzzle brake coming loose was probably my part too. It just wasn't on tight enough, even though I had it on pretty tight, but I guess it wasn't quite enough. The other mistake that I was making is this whole setup, not only just the rifle, but the front rest, the bags, all that stuff is all completely new to me as far as the setup. I'm still getting used to this gun and shooting off a rest and all that. So with that being said, when I was shooting that day, I noticed that later on that when I did the transition from 100 to 440 yards, I was not adjusting the rest the right way on the front. It's got adjustable feet on the bottom, and you can raise or lower the entire, basically the entire rest. And you can do like micro adjustments by adjusting the feet, and the wheel makes the big adjustments to raise the portion that your gun sits on up and down. So I wasn't doing either one. So I was moving the gun around way too much from 100 to 400. And the other mistake that I was making was that I didn't have it pushed up enough so that the chassis was making contact with the stop. There's a little stop on the front of that. The chassis hits that, so it's always in the same place every time. That was adjusted wrong, and I wasn't pressed up against it every time. So some of the time, my barrel was actually touching it which is not good. And the other time I wasn't pressed up against it, and other times I was. Like I said, it's a whole brand new setup. I'm still really getting used to going through the same motions every time as far as trying to get the same results. So now I'm going to cover 3 different targets. The first 2 are from when I had my Tikka T3X TAC A1. I was shooting off a crappy bipod, and actually, no, I'll save the other target for the end. There's some more explaining on that. So I'm going to show you the difference that I've done from this setup with the rest and this rifle compared to the Tikka T3X with a bipod and how that gun was shooting. So the first target I want to show you, I'll do this in order of date. So this one here is from October 14th, 2023. Now, the thing that I want to point out the most, I'm not asking you guys to be able to make out every single hit. All these little sticky things over everywhere, those are all individual hits. And it's 3 rounds, 10-round shots with 5 warm-up shots before. This is the target that I hit for that match. Now, the big thing that I want everyone to understand was the point total. I scored a 262 out of all those rounds. So 3 rounds, 10 shots each equal out to 262 with 6 shots in the bullseye, which is actually pretty good, but the overall score is not that good because I had a lot of shots down here out of the black. Now this is also with the Tikka. This is September 28th, 2024. This is one of the last meets that I did with this gun. And the total score on this was a 253. I did absolutely terrible. The mistake I made with that gun is I changed the muzzle brake and I never re-zeroed it. I didn't realize at the time that that was going to have such a huge impact. So I scored a 253 and a 262 on the other one. So not really all that great overall. I did have only 1 X out of that entire 3-round match. Now we skip ahead to the match that I just shot with my brand new custom rifle build. I shot a total of a 281 with 7 in the bullseye. Now I'll show you guys the individual targets each round on the video now, so you can see how I did each round. Now, it only threw 4 shots out of the entire match out of the black. There was 1 up here, 1 down here, and the 3 just barely on the outside. Now, I don't know if that's me or if that's the ammo or a combination of both. I'm going to put a lot of it on me, but this is such a massive improvement going from 250s and 260s to 280s. Now, it wasn't the best target out of the match. There was only 4 of us that day. It was shot over Memorial Day weekend. And between Memorial Day weekend and it being kind of crappy that morning, a lot of people didn't come out. But there were 2 guys that shot ahead of me. The top score was a 286, and the next closest to me was a 283. So you can see that if one of these shots, especially these 3 right on the perimeter of the black, if one of those had gone in, I would have come in second, but I came in 4th. And the best guy was only a 286, so only a few points higher than me. And these are both guys that shoot really, really well consistently. They are regulars that go to these meets. So I felt really, really good with the first time going out and shooting this at a competition shoot, still being unfamiliar with a lot of stuff. As far as what I was shooting, those 2 targets with the Tikka, the 250s and 260 scores, were shot with Hornady ELD match 140 grain and 6.5 Creedmoor. If this is your first time watching a video on this gun. With the custom build rifle that I have, I use Seiko TRG Precision. Now, I'm still not positive for what ammo I really preferred because, like I said, the day I was zeroing it in, the muzzle brake was coming loose. And this is the target that I shot that day. Now, there's rounds all over the place. What I want you to understand is each small diamond area is a different ammo that I was using. The big take out of all this is this one up here in this corner. See how tight that group is? That was with the Berger 144 grain long range hybrid target. Basically, I believe I have, those are 140s. These are 144s. This was the actual box that I shot. There was one left at Cabela's. I was there one day, so I grabbed it. And it shot extremely well with the Berger. So well at the point that pretty much this is going to be the ammo that I want to use going forward. I started running into the problem that I just cannot get this ammo anywhere. It is so hard to find 140 and 144 Berger and 6.5 Creedmoor right now. So basically what I've done is I've made the jump to start reloading. I've never reloaded. I have watched a ton of videos trying to get as much information as I can from online forums and videos that I've been watching. It's a huge, massive rabbit hole. There's so much information thrown at you that is really, really hard to put it all into perspective as far as really figuring out what you're doing. But I'm making progress on how I believe I'm going to go forward with this as far as my reloading process and the components used. In the meantime, as far as getting everything to reload, that's something I want to have done by the last match this summer. It's a lot of it's a big investment for all this equipment that I need. Those of you that reload obviously know this. I knew it was a big investment going into it. And I'm also doing this not because I want to save money on ammo, because you definitely don't, but I wanted to refine how well this shoots. Because if it can shoot a group, like this with the factory Berger, then I want to see what it does with the custom hand loads. Basically, what I'll be shooting is their bullets. And I have an absolute ton of Hornady shot brass over the past few years. And I have a lot of Seiko brass. Seiko and Hornady make their own brass from what I've been able to find out. And also I'm going to pick up some Lapua because I do have these rounds that I've shot, which are Lapua, so I'm going to reload these because I believe the brass and the bullets, the actual bullets for these with a custom load will be very, very accurate. So I do have some 140s that I bought for the actual bullets that will be here soon. As far as when I'll be able to start reloading, it's something I want to work on. Like I said, towards the end of the summer, there's a final championship match at the end of the season for the competition shoots that I do. And this isn't like serious competition. It's just the club that I belong to. And they do these 440-yard shoots once a month. And there's one championship match at the end that has no reflection on your previous rounds that you've shot. It's just straight, that's a championship round. Whoever wins, wins. The guy that won it last year shot a 290, and I'm at a 281 right now with this rifle. So that's basically my spread of what I need to get up to. So in the meantime, because I'm not going to be able to start reloading probably within the next couple of months by the time I get everything, because I'm also kind of waiting for 4th of July, hoping some 4th of July sales come up to buy some of the more expensive items. So in the meantime, I did buy this Contricity basically device to help perfect the factory ammo that I'm shooting. I have quite a few boxes of the Seiko TRG. I had some left over and I bought some more after that match because it seemed to do really well with that ammo. So I did buy some more. It's a round that I can actually get at Cabela's, so it's not too hard for me to get hold of it. But I bought this in the short term also to use when I'm reloading as well. But I bought this because I can improve the factory box ammo with this as far as making sure that bullet is completely seated the way that it should be, and it's not. And those of you that have these know what I mean. I'm not trying to explain exactly what this does, but basically it makes sure the bullet's seated properly in there as far as it's not canted one direction or the other. I mean, if you look at it, it looks straight, but you're talking about hundreds, thousands of inches when you're talking about precision shooting. So any kind of advantage you can get with straight in and out any of these bullets should help until I can get the whole reloading process up and running. Now, I've gone back and forth a bunch of times on what components to buy. It's, like I said, it's a huge rabbit hole when you start looking at reloading stuff. So much information thrown at you. And I went back and forth quite a bit on what powder I wanted to use, what dies to get, which press, reload and press to get. Back and forth on a lot of stuff. One of the things that I want to point out as soon as I'm looking for it on my Midway save stuff. Okay, I'll throw a picture of this up. Vedatori, I believe is how it's pronounced. If it's wrong, I apologize. It's a company from Finland, I believe, and they make N555 powder specifically for 6.5 Creedmoor. And I'll throw a picture of that up too. I was going to get the Hodgdon. It's a very popular powder for precision shooting. Then I found this other stuff that was recommended, and I got reading about it more, watching videos on it, and it was actually cheaper than some of the more regularly used powders. So I'm going to give that a shot. So basically when I do this whole reloading thing, I'm going to use the Lapua brass with the Berger. I'm going to use Hornady bullets, Hornady cartridges reloaded with the Hornady ELD Match 140 grain bullets. So I'll have the Bergers loaded with the Lapua, Hornady's loaded with the Hornady and with their own bullets. So I'll be able to do a comparison between the two, both shooting with that powder. And what I'm also going to do is different bullet seed and depths. So I'll be doing different seed and depths for each one. And I'll probably load some up too of the Seiko because I do have a fair amount of the brass left over. So I'll do all three different types with the same powder that I bought with, I'm not sure what I'll put in the Seiko yet. Maybe I'll do some with the Hornady bullets and some with the Berger. And I'll do different seed and depths with all three. And I'll try and, see how it shoots. What is it like better as far as the seed and depth? What is it like better for each bullet and case? So it's going to be like a big experimental thing that I'm going to get into when I really fine-tune this rifle. And I was really happy to shoot that 281. I was not expecting that. When I went down to the range to the 440-yard targets that time to see how my first round was, I was ecstatic. As you can see from the photos that I put up, the first round was good. I mean, I did have one thrown out of the black. The rest of them were excellent. I was very happy with that. So I'm really excited to start hand loading and trying these different variables with all these different bullets and brass and seating depth for the bullets and all that. So it's going to be really interesting. And I hope, I'm not putting the cart before the horse, but it'll be real nice to win that championship. But I need more time behind the gun. There'll be more shooting with the gun throughout the summer. I'll take it back to the range. I'm going to go up again in June during vacation, do some more shooting then with the Seiko bullets, with them put through the contricity level to make sure all the bullets are true in there the way they should be, and see if I get any improvements over what I was doing at the 440-yard shoot. And also, I'll do some updates as I go along with getting more equipment and stuff like that. So there'll be a lot more shooting stuff if you're really into that. I'll be having more updates throughout the summer. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave it a like. And above all else, thanks for watching.